We are ready to roll out a grading system, and at this time, I want to turn things over to Tina Cassidy, our Director of Educational Services. Her department has worked very hard with our teachers to put a system in place for grading for the fourth quarter, and she's going to provide you with some more detailed information.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm really excited to share with you our grading policies. I think our grading guidelines. I think, like Aaron said, we did come up with the best of both worlds of being able to hold our students accountable, but still be able to give them the benefit of the doubt, as this is a new kind of learning environment that they're in, and we want to make sure everybody has a fair chance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and present. We've put all of our grading guidelines on our parent page that we showed you at the last board meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and change to present mode. Okay, so hopefully you can see that this is the homepage. It's our Medina City Schools homepage. If you go to Online Learning Parent Resources right here at the top, this is our Parent Online Learning Resource website. And if you missed our board meeting last month, if you have any elementary questions, secondary questions, there's technology resources as well as wellness resources for you. But today we're going to look specifically at the grading, which is a new button on this website. Our first piece of the website is just a rationale for how we chose to do this method of grading. And really what we did is we looked at it, that these are unique times in education. This is the first time in modern history that we've had an entire statewide suspension of school. And we realized that there are factors outside of our control, with learning being moved off-site. Student access, support, and family circumstances are all going to play a role in how much students will be able to participate. And we want to make sure that no student fails as a result of this new learning environment. So a student who is not able to be engaged in online learning will either receive an I for incomplete, or an NP for did not participate. Now, teachers and administrators are going to make every attempt to engage students, because we do want all students to participate in learning. So students will be getting emails, parents will be getting emails or phone calls if students are not participating. But we do understand that it is very possible that the student is experiencing circumstances outside of their control. And we just want to also keep the big picture in mind, that grading is the big idea behind grading is it's feedback and communication to students and parents. And so we want to make sure that that is the emphasis, that it's on learning and not on compliance. So during this fourth quarter, all students should have the opportunity to redo, make up, or try again to complete work assigned. No zeros will be given, and late work will be accepted. We are trying to give students every opportunity to continue their learning. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about how the elementary will be graded. Because of this uncertain time, we are not going to be giving A's or B's or letter grades in grades 4 and 5. We will not be giving number grades on standards. Instead, we're going to be the grades will be based on participation. Unfortunately, our report cards are all standards based. So we have come up with a new format on a Google Doc, which students will be getting instead. And what will you see on this Google Doc report card? For grades K through 5 in ELA and math, and in grades 4 and 5 in social studies and science, those are courses where students are expected to turn in assignments. So they will either receive a P for participated or an NP for did not participate. And then teachers are going to report in the comments section on the main standards that they focused on during online learning, and then they will also add comments specific to student achievement. It's going to be very hard to ascertain how well students understood each standard in this environment of online learning, but we will be able to comment on things that students did and the questions they had and the insights teachers were able to glean from their interactions with students. For K-3 social studies and science, and then art, music, and PE, teachers are not necessarily collecting work in these areas. So instead, what they will do on the report card, so they will not receive a P or an NP. Instead, the teachers are going to write a brief summary of the things that they did during this last part of the trimester. So that's basically how we will be grading in elementary. Secondary, of course, is a little bit more complicated. Because there's a lot more going on grading-wise at secondary. First of all, we ended this. The last time we were in school was, I believe, March 12th. March 13th was the end of the third quarter. It was the middle of the trimester for elementary, but it was the day before the end of the third quarter for secondary. And so there were a lot of tests scheduled that day. There was assignments that were scheduled for that day. And we didn't want to just close the quarter out and not have students have the chance to earn those points. So what we are going to do is we're going to give students until next Monday, April 27th, to communicate with their teacher if they desire to do another assignment that would be worth whatever assignment was due on that last day of the quarter. If they do not want to do that, if they want to keep their grade for quarter three as they had it on March 12th, they can do that. But if they aren't happy with their quarter three grade and they would like an extra assignment to make up for whatever they missed on that last day, then their teachers will work with them. So they have until next Monday to let their teachers know. And then they will have until May 11th to complete that assignment. But quarter three grades will be closed out at that time. Quarter four grades, again, we are focused on participation, not necessarily achievement. So quarter four grades are going to be awarded as follows. We are going to use letter grades, however. So if students are completing at least 85% of their assigned work, they will get an A. 70% of their assigned work, a B. 55% a C, and at least 40% a D. If they have less than 40% of their work completed, they will have an I and no credit will be awarded. Now, this doesn't mean that students can hand in a paper with 2 problems out of 10 done or 2 sentences instead of a paragraph. Teachers are going to be working with students to help them complete it satisfactorily. So there are office hours that teachers will be calling students, requesting to meet with them to make sure that students understood the assignments and to help them be successful. Because again, our focus is on learning. We just want to make sure that kids are learning, and that's the idea of the assignments, and it's the idea of grading. So if they're learning, then they will be good. We acknowledge that students and families are adjusting to changes in home and work situations, and so we're going to do everything we can to make sure that they're learning. In some cases, there may be circumstances outside of a student's control or outside of the parent's control, and so there will be an opportunity for individualized plans if necessary, but that's going to be on a student-by-student basis. So, in high school courses, the high school courses at middle school and then high school courses are all based on semester grades. And so semester grades for high school courses will be as follows. If the students had this grade in quarter 3 in any of these columns and this grade in quarter 4, this will be their final semester 2 grade. So if they had a B+ in quarter 3 and an A in quarter 4, their final semester grade will be an A-. And again, we tried to make sure that no student's grades would necessarily go down unless they weren't participating in class in the fourth quarter. GPA will be calculated per Medina City Schools policies for high school courses. quarter 4 final grades will be entered by the individual teacher into progress book. So what parents will see in progress book, I want to say this, it may not match our grading guidelines. They might see a 1 if it's completed and a 0 if it's not. That doesn't mean, we just wanted to make sure that parents were able to log in and see what assignments that students had completed or had not completed. We wanted to give parents that ability to check. So at the end, the teachers are going to manually enter these grades into the system. So on the report card, this is what it will look like. Middle school courses will calculate, in middle school, you get your long courses for your middle school courses. And so quarter 4 will count as 1/4 of the student's final average grade. No final exams will be given, and they will not be part of a grade. So final exams will not be given 4th quarter. We did want to make a note that per OHSAA, an incomplete grade in a class for 4th quarter may impact fall eligibility for sports. So we do want to emphasize that we are encouraging students to participate and make sure they get their assignments done. So we worked very closely with our administrators, we worked very closely with our teachers, and we worked very closely with other districts in the area. And we kind of took the best of everybody's ideas and kind of brought it together into a system we think will really work for us and give our students the benefit of that. So are there any questions about our grading guidelines?
Tina, what about the AP testing? I know that the AP board was working on doing some changes so that those will happen online. Can you give the parents some information on that?
Yeah, I don't have that right in front of me, but AP tests will be happening online. That isn't necessarily part of their grade. It might be counted as participation as an assignment, but those will still be given. And they're going to be, again, online and I believe open book. And if students contact their teachers, they'll be able to help them with the times of the tests and prepping for that.
Tina, can I interject on that?
Are you jumping in, Ryan? One of us can. You want to?
I was going to. I pushed out the lockdown browser for those AP tests those AP courses so that they use it's a Google app that is an actual lockdown browser that College Board,
yes,
the College Board accepts as a means of monitoring that exam.
Yeah, and so I have a couple details, if that's okay. So they're going to be at-home exams. They're not necessarily going to be open book, but they're going to be 45 minutes long. Tina, I just have the luxury of a second screen in the office, so don't think I have all this memorized. And a child who's taken one, so that's the only reason I have this. So the kids are going to be able to take them at home. They're going to be 45 minutes long, and they're going to give them 5 minutes to upload the tests at home. And if you go to College Board, if you Google College Board or go to College Board, or if you're on Twitter, they had a parent session you could go to learn all this, which is still on there that you can watch the videos. And College Board has done a really nice job. The kids have live sessions once a week that are saved as well. And so the kids, they have an AP teacher from each subject that has been teaching the kids once a week, in addition to our own teachers who are phenomenal. So AP Board has done a really nice job of trying to support the students. And as Ryan said, he pushed out, if any of you have college kids, they do this secure testing protocol. So they're trying to adapt, as we all are, to what's going on and try to help the students. Did that answer your question?
And I think the other piece to that is that the College Board has worked on adjusting those AP exams considering the situation. So it's not your standard AP exam that students would have taken at the end of the 4th quarter in previous years.
If I could ask a question real quick to Tina, and thank you for laying this out for us so we can see how the grading will occur and so forth. I guess I'm thinking of especially kids in high school, as they hit the end of their semester, will there be some parent communication if they've just decided to not turn in some assignments before the very end where there's an incomplete? Will there be some level, like, I don't know if a letter could be sent out, say, because if somebody's been under, a shell somewhere, not paid any attention to some of this communication, just concerning if there could be students falling through the cracks. And I guess it's not just at high school, obviously, it's at all the levels, but I'm just wondering if, from the standpoint of being able to, move on and be involved next year and so forth. But I'll mute. Thanks.
Yes, teachers are going to be checking in with kids every week. Kids that aren't turning in things, they are supposed to check with them and their parents 3 times. If they can't get a hold of the student and the student's still not turning them in after 3 times, that will go to the administrator, and the administrator will begin contact with parents to try to get that. So we do have a plan in place to make sure everybody's participating as much as they can.
Tina, can you touch base on the SAT that was originally scheduled for April? And then is the ACT rescheduled date, June 13th, still valid?
Yeah, that I don't know. I'd have to check that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and all the SAT and ACT dates are all determined by those testing organizations, not by the district.
Okay. Thank you.